Welcome to Aquatic Filter Systems, home of the Well Guru Super Size Well Water System. It's a whole home platform, complete system to solve all your well water problems. I offer free well water testing by mail. Put your well water sample in a half-liter plastic bottle, like a drinking water bottle, cap it tight, send it to me. My system is affordable, it's engineered to last a lifetime. There's nothing easier to maintain, nothing that lasts longer, nothing that makes water more pure. That's science. This is an engineered system for well water from the ground up, and from top to bottom there's no newer technology on the market for treating well water or problem well water for residential or commercial buildings that can be purchased. I build it, I supply it, I install for free in Florida, I ship out free over the 48 states. This system, well, you may not think you need something of this size. This will solve your well water problems. You need this for well water. Well water is a full-bodied water. It has to be processed from A to Z. We build the systems here. We've been doing this for 37 years. We've been in the same location since 1985. And this is our well water YouTube channel, and we're going to be adding more videos. And watch our feature-length video, which is about under an hour long. And I'm going to go over the entire system and how everything works and the benefits and the features and why you should invest in this system and or replace what you probably have a system that that's not working, that you bought from somebody else, and you're looking for some answers or a replacement system. Everything is in that video that you'll probably need to make a confident purchase decision. Thanks. Hello, welcome to Aquatic Filter Systems, home of the Well Guru system. If you're here looking at this website, you're probably having problems with your well water or your current system that you already own, that you purchased from somebody. The purpose of this video is to enlighten you on how important this decision is that you're making. There's lots of choices out there on the internet, from local independents, franchises, your friend at church, plumbers. The fact is, I'm a licensed plumber and have been since 1985. Plumbers are not trained in water filtration. Water filtration, especially for well water, is a very complex endeavor. You take that on with a normal filter or something by a hardware store or local depot, you're not going to solve any water problems, especially if you have well water problems like sulfur, iron, smelly water, high hardness, bacteria. Any one of those can load up a system and load it up real quick and it will stop working, and you've wasted your money. You can't recover a system generally when it's installed and it's the wrong application. The best way to do this job is to do it right the first time. You're not going to solve the problem with these websites you see out there offering systems for $950, $1,300, $3,500. Well water is raw water. It's not city water that's been partially treated, where the iron has been settled out, chlorine has been put into the water. There's no filtration with city water. Well water is full-bodied water. It has to be addressed from A to Z. That's what my system does. Over 30 years of engineering has gone into this system. I got thousands and thousands and thousands of happy customers, not just all through the United States, but internationally. We're based in Florida. We do free installation of the system anywhere in Florida and South Georgia. If you're out of the state and you still want the technology, since the early 90s we've been shipping all through the United States, free shipping into 48 lower. We shipped to Canada. We even shipped the new systems to China last year. We ship to Greece, South America. No matter where you're at on this planet, you can have this technology. well water, when somebody's shopping for a system, there's a lot of dealers out there that will try to get at the heels of those dealers who are actually producing a platform. This is an oxidation platform. There's two general large platforms that address well water from A to Z. Aeration and oxidation platform. This is the #1 system for addressing well water. Aeration, in my opinion, is archaic. It's been out for 40, 50 years, 60 years now. It's basically a nursery for bacteria. Most people don't know how to manage the system properly. It's an open system. It requires a secondary pump for your house, secondary bladder tank, secondary point system. This system does not. It's a closed, pressurized system. A lot of people are looking at these websites and they're selling systems that don't offer chlorine. Chlorine is essential for well water. If you don't have chlorine, you basically do not have potable water, because you could have E. coli in the water, cryptosporidium, bacteria, heterotrophic bacteria. Well water can have it. Even on city water in the United States, in recent history, there are times where there was not enough chlorine in the water and cryptosporidium made people sick. And these are large cities with 80-mile loops of chlorine going through the pipes constantly. That's how they build them. This is a retention tank. This is our multi-chambered retention tank. Chlorine, the type of chlorine we use that I brought to the market 15 years ago, which took 15 years before that to get approved. It's 100% pure chlorine. It does not come in a jug. It's not a liquid chlorine. It's a hard, stable chlorine tablet. You can buy it on the internet. You can buy it locally. It gives you 90% oxidation. My competitors who do offer chlorination systems, they only give you 10% to 40% with their liquid chlorine. You got to lug 5-gallon heavy jugs home every month, mix it 4 to 1. Nobody gets the mixtures right. It's sort of like having a 2-stroke engine with the gas tank, trying to get that ratio right. Nobody ever does. If you don't get it right, it doesn't work. The problem that I noticed 30 years ago when I was doing plumbing service work, if you don't get that oxidation up to high enough, 10 to 40% doesn't do it. It doesn't power through the bacteria. It doesn't power through the iron. It does not turn sulfur from a gas to a solid so it can be filtered out. If you're not doing those things, then those elements are sticking inside your filters. And that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people are watching this video now, because they have a system that they paid thousands of dollars for. They were promised the world, and in 90 days the smell came back worse than ever. They got brown water, black water days where the water comes out of the shower head, stains their fixtures. Then the dealer says, oh, your well water must have changed, or you didn't do something properly. Without chlorine, you don't have oxidation of those elements. This system removes the chlorine before the product water, the finished water, goes into the home. So you're not living in an environment with chlorine. You're not taking a shower with chlorine. There's a lot of dealers out there who offer systems with chlorination, and they don't offer the technology to back that chlorine back out again. I have always been a proponent of living in an environment without chlorine in the home, but it's a necessary additive for a well water filtration system. There's not a municipality who sells water to customers with a monthly water bill that does not chlorinate their water. Not anywhere. Maybe in third world countries, but anywhere in the northern hemisphere or these islands around or other countries, chlorination is vital for potable water. You're getting water from a well water that in most cases, especially during the summertime, there is bacteria in that well. And the job of this system is to process that water when it leaves that wellhead before it gets into your house, to convert it to disinfected, highly purified, filtered, safe, clean, non-staining, smooth, soft water with no odors. That's what this system will do for you. This system also takes salt. There's two elements in this system. There's two elements in well water filtration that are crucial for making the type of water you expect from a system you're purchasing. Those systems you see on those advertised on the internet where the dealer doesn't have any ranking, but they pay for, clicks, and they offer these, just a twin tank system. It's real bright and blue, and it's got a stainless steel UV light. That's not going to solve your water problems. And people who spend $1,000, $3,500, some people spend more than that, $45,000, $5,000. I remove those systems on a daily basis. When we work in Florida, we install systems. I have boxes and boxes of power heads and tanks. And once a month, we take a trip to the landfill, and those systems are not reusable. There's nothing that can be salvaged from them. I can't help those customers who buy systems that are not engineered correctly. For 45 years, the technology, most of the technology you're looking at on the internet or you're presented from somebody local, or that technology, those power valves, which is the brains of your system, which guide your system through its filtration, back-flushing contaminants weekly, that controls your system. If that goes down, that takes your whole system down with it. And when it goes down, generally, because of the technology, the archaic technology that was came out in the early 70s when the housing boom came along and water softening got to be really big, these systems have remained virtually unchanged for decades. Adding an electronic board or a smoked bronze plastic hood for it is not new technology. That's not going to do anything for your water. It's going to do something to help them sell their systems. But these power valves that you're looking at, and there's probably 20 brands out there, I don't know of any of them that have changed since the early 70s. And there has been no real big housing boom since that created a need for that. They're not going to spend millions of dollars, thousands of hours to retool when what they got generates a lot of service revenue for them. They have a fleet of service trucks, and the general idea when you're in the well water or city water filtration also is to add a service truck to your fleet once a year. If you're not doing that, when you go to these conventions and all that, they tell you you're basically doing something wrong. Every 5 years, if you're not adding a salt delivery truck, you're doing something wrong. I don't have a service fleet. I don't have a salt delivery truck. When my systems are sold to my customers, and they install them, I ship them out to you. They come with an easy install kit. They come partially plumbed, programmed. They can't lose their programming, their dealer programming. You set the time, you connect the easy kit that I give you. Comes in a little box, and then you got some plastic piping. You line it up just like this according to the diagram I include, and you got water within 30 minutes after you turn the water on. Your problems are corrected, and they stay corrected. The system is engineered to last a lifetime. While you might have to replace probably a plastic tube or a plastic hose, because if it's out in the UV in the sun after 10 years, that's normal. We got extra parts on our web page in the parts store. Generally, everything on there is under $45. 99% of our customers go 10 years with only spending about $20 a year in maintenance items. You're not going to get that with any platform that you're buying on the internet or from a local. Generally, those are $1,200, $1,500 a year to maintain. They don't tell you that when they sell it to you. But if you look at those pictures, well water is full-bodied water. For every gallon, there can be up to 7, sometimes more, 7 ounces of calcium carbonate, lime and scale, magnesium, iron in every gallon. That's got to go somewhere. It's either being collected in a filter, or it is being collected in a filter, and then it has to be rejected and sent down the drain. This system does that. You look at those systems that they're selling you, you're not getting what you think you're paying for. For $3,500 or $4,000, you're getting maybe one power head unit, and it's not one of these. And then the second filter, if you get one, has an in and out valve. I can tell you right now, I've done thousands of installations for city water softening, and if you look at my twin tank system, I give you a power valve option or a non-power valve option. 50% of the city waters out there, you cannot have a power valve missing on the 2 units. Say on over in Hillsborough County in Florida, you have to have 2 power valves because of the water quality. But on well water, if you have a filter system like this, you need 2 power valves. If you don't have the capability for the system to automatically backwash contaminants, it's going to load up. And then what's going to happen is 90 days later, luckily a year, if you get by a year later, when you call and you say you've got no water pressure, they're going to say, send me a water sample, they'll test it. Guess what? Well, it changed a little bit, that's why it clogged up. Or you take too long of showers, your family's too big, some parameter change, you didn't do this or that. Then you're looking at another $1,000 minimum. That's what they usually charge to send you out a tank by mail, then you gotta replace that tank. My system has no scheduled dealer service for 10 years. And 100% of my customers who, when they get their CD and they follow the basic maintenance, which this is the easiest system to maintain month to month, 100% of my customers have not had to have any scheduled maintenance that was not scheduled. And the maintenance that I recommend for 10 years, you can do yourself. If you can connect this system, if you're out of state and I ship it to you in 4 boxes, it's already partially plumbed, it is programmed, you get the kit, you get the plastic piping, it takes about 3 hours for you to put it in on a Saturday. If you add your chlorine to it on a monthly basis and you keep your salt level up, your system will remain trouble-free. I do not have any customers, out of thousands and thousands and thousands of customers, every one of them is happy because the system is engineered to work with problem water. You may not have problem water. You may be here because you got well water, you're just concerned about contaminants, or you may have gotten an odor once or twice. All well water can be problem water. What the filter system, if it is filtering it out, it has to reject. It has to capture and reject down the drain what it captures. If it is just collecting, even if it's only collecting 10% of what it's filtering, like some of these systems, eventually it's going to load up. And you're going through 2,500, 20,000 gallons a month at 2 to 7 ounces of calcium carbonate, lime and scale, loading up those filters. You're going to have to get your checkbook out and spend some money. They don't tell you that. This is a multi-chambered retention tank, our AFS contact tank. This is key with chlorine. This puts over 124 gallons of raw well water against our chlorine, which is at 90% free chlorine. Not 10%, not 40, not 60, like my closest competitor is, where you have to buy 4 of his mason jars monthly at, last time I looked, it was $12 a jar. It looks like little rabbit pellets you got to put in there. His chlorinator, after about a year, you got to get a tool to take the lid off because it gets swollen. I'm going to go over my chlorinator, my injector chlorinator, in a minute, and I'll show you how that works. This is where all the magic takes place. This is stage 2 from the chlorinator. Your raw well water will go into this tank, and your sand and your silt, which most wells have quite a bit of sand and silt. You just don't see it because it's in all your gallons of water that goes through there. But this gets trapped in the lower compartment. There's a valve at the bottom of this tank that you can open up once every 30 days for 5 minutes. It'll eject it. You'll see very little turbidity in there. This takes much of the burden off of the automated filters so they can do their job. Sulfur gas, which smells like your rotten eggs in the water, that's a gas. You can't filter a gas out. it has to be oxidized. These filter systems you see advertised on these little click ads, and you know, they got fancy websites, they pay quite a bit of money to maintain and build. They load up the internet with all these different pages and push customer complaints back. We don't do that. This system, it'll process water from A to Z. It'll give you the water you expect. Your expectations when you buy a system, when you pay $1,000 for it or $4,000 for a system, your expectations are just like when you buy a half-liter bottle of water. You expect that half-liter bottled water to be pure. And 4 out of 5 cases, not as pure as you think it is. Sulfur, being a gas, has to be oxidized first. And that's what the chlorine does. Chlorine is an oxidizer. And the higher level of purity and chlorine oxidation you got, sulfur and iron and bacteria are like a sponge. They soak up your chlorine. So if you got a lot of sulfur gas, rotten egg smell, you got some high iron water, you're going to use up that chlorine when it comes in. There's not going to be any chlorine left over to disinfect your water, to power through the bacteria. And believe me, 100% of the houses that I install this system in, and I'm replacing a system that has been bought by another vendor, a franchisor, independent plumber, a friend, or a hardware store, or a local depot, no matter what they buy, I cut into that piping system in that house, after that system, and it is filled with bacteria. I take a picture on every job I do. I started taking pictures 10 years ago, and I have hundreds and hundreds and maybe over thousands of pictures. When I remember to take a picture, I take it. The bacteria is either as thickness of a credit card, or it can be so bad you got no water pressure in the house. If you're on well water, you have bacteria in your pipes. You're going to see on the internet, government websites or state websites or even other dealers that don't have a chlorination system saying that, oh, you don't have bacteria in your water. You do have bacteria in your water. If you don't buy from me and you install a system, stand there when you cut the pipes, look at the pipes. Take your finger, go like that. That's the least you'll find. Or you'll cut that pipe and it will just start pouring out of there. I've got pictures. If you'd like me to send them, I can send you examples. The sulfur, your smelly sulfur, if you don't have it now, you may have it at some point when the seasons change or you just move into a house. That sulfur gas, when it's oxidized, it turns into a solid. And that's what this unit does. It removes the sulfur gas. It filters iron. It filters hundreds and hundreds of contaminants. Nowadays, in Florida alone, we are, I believe, number 5 for water quality in the country. Ralph Nader talked, I guess it's been a few years now, but just a few years ago, we have 450 contaminants in our main aquifer through Hillsborough County, including MTBE. 1,600 wells were tested in March 2000, and they all contained MTBE, which is a gasoline additive. You need full protection for your water. Filtration A to Z. That's what this system does. Iron, when it comes into stage 2, the face of iron has to be changed. That's what chlorine does. It oxidizes the iron so it can be filtered out by this unit, stage 3. So as you can see, chlorine is very important. Not to mention bacteria, viruses. You could have a lot of wells. I get a lot of customers who send me emails. They have E. coli in their water. They can't move into their house because they can't pass the final CO for their house. The state won't let them move in. And a lot of those customers have bought systems from other dealers. They've spent $5, $6, $7, some of them spend $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 for systems. They have not even used their systems yet. They bought the system, they built the house, or built the house, bought the system, then they have the well water tested, they failed, they got E. coli. In 100% of the cases that I have sold a customer a system for that problem, I have not heard back from them. They got their final CO and moved in. I got power heads in Florida that we do jobs. I have power heads that I pulled out. They're basically, the tanks, everything's brand new. The system is new. They haven't even used it. You take the heads off, there's no iron, there's nothing. But they couldn't move in. They wasted $5,000. Or if you got a system you spend $5,000 for, or $3,000 or $1,000, after your first year, the service alone will make up the difference what you could have bought that system and fixed your water permanently. So this is where all the magic takes place. These filters, one of them is a well water softener. These are specifically engineered for our type of hard, stable chlorine puck that you buy. They're 3-inch pucks. You will install the pucks in the chlorine in the system, and this system is designed, engineered from the ground up 12 years ago to accept high purity chlorine. That chlorine is filtered out before it goes into the home. The seals, the heads, the tanks, the specialized media, the specialized chlorinator injector that we engineered, the special lining tank, the special drinking water system, everything in this unit is designed to operate differently than any other technology out there. You only have a few steps of maintenance each month to ensure that this system works good. All systems need maintenance. If you're looking at a system and they tell you it's install, set and forget, there's no such thing as a system that does that. That does not take salt and chlorine that will handle your well water problems. It'll handle it for about 30 days or 90 days, but if you have those problems, you're going to have those problems back again, and a lot of times they're worse than ever. You got sulfur problems. If your water smells, when it comes back in 30 or 90 days, it's worse. But they always have an excuse why their system doesn't work. And they'll say, well, go look and search for a happy, everybody's happy. Well, they're not. They're pushed back. So now a lot of customers are looking at our system and say, well, I want a sodium-free system. Well, and that's just not possible. Of course, everybody wants to be have a system where they have to do as little as possible. Without salt, which is an ionic exchange element, you cannot backflush and regenerate the well softener portion of your system. And if you don't have salt, you do not have fully softened water. It may drop it down a couple grains, but if you have hard water, you're still going to have buildup, you're still going to have staining on your clothes are still going to fade, your water heater is still going to get buildup and sediment in it, which looks like those little cornflakes that burns them out. If you have tankless heaters, those can cost $3,500 or $4,000 these days. That will clog up, your plumbing in your house will clog up, the luster of your bathrooms will start getting dingy and dull. That happens quite rapidly. You get micro scratches on everything from when you're cleaning with the calcium carbonate, lime and scale in the water. That has to be physically removed. And you cannot physically remove those elements and capturing them in the filtration without having an ionic exchange element to do the 50-50 ion exchange. That's what happens once a week, 2 o'clock in the morning while you're sleeping. The unit will draw in the brine, whether it's potassium or sodium chloride. A salt is a salt. So if somebody says, well, I got sodium-free system, they're either talking about they're selling you a system where you're going to use potassium in it, or they're just selling you a GAC carbon filter, which can last 90 days to 3 years. And there's $1,000. It's not a 10-year coast like this technology would give you. So, talking about salt, well, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to go to the store and get salt. Well, a lot of people, 95% of my customers, their well water, with the program that I put in here for them, when they get their system installed or we ship it to them, those customers, even with a family of 4, only go through a bag of salt, the smaller bag you see at the grocery store, once every 6 weeks. So they fill up this container 3 times a year. And that's 95% of my customers. So it's basically one of the biggest emails I get after I sell a system is, hey Eric, compared to my last system, I think there's something wrong. It's not using any salt. It's been it's been a month and the salt hasn't gone down. Well, that's because it's hardly using any salt. So that's a job that you pretty much won't even notice. You can 3 times a year, you just put your bags of salt in there, and now you got your protection for your house. You got smooth, clean, soft water. Your soaps will go 70% further. Soaps, salon, and cleaning products, it's a fact, goes 70 times further with this purity of water, with the soft water the system produces. With a family of 4, with this system, you can save about $4,000 a year in those products. Not including not having soft water, not including the return you get for clothes fading, your whole wardrobe fading, your plumbing, your extra heating costs for your water heater. Just in soap, salon, and cleaning products, this system returns your investment in just a few years with a family of 4. That's a fact. I'm going to go over the chlorinator. A lot of people have questions about the chlorinator. They might be looking here at this video, trying to replace their system that they bought, and they've had it for a few years, and they're just unhappy with having to go get liquid chlorine and pour it in there, or they find out that they really do need chlorine with their system. Their system's not working. They spent all this money and it's not working. So if you're here and you're replacing your system, or you're looking to buy a new system, I'm going to show you how this is the easiest system, a real platform system, oxidation full platform, that really does what your expectations of what it should do, how easy it is to operate month to month. There's nothing easier, nothing makes better water, nothing makes a water with my Well Guru Whole Home package, nothing makes drinking water more pure. That's science. The higher the oxidation level of the chlorine, the more penetration of contaminants that you get oxidized completely across the board. And man has now 6,000 contaminants that could possibly end up in the environment. That's how many contaminants, man-made contaminants, not including natural ones, that man has created. Generally, most wells, you can do a full spectrum test, send them out, spend several $100s, $500, $700. It's about $2 a contaminant. You'll find hundreds of contaminants in the well water. There is no good well water anymore. So drinking water is essential for your health. Our system, our drinking water, has contaminants that are rejected down to the size of an atom. And there is no better technology for making drinking water. It doesn't exist. A lot of people say, well, what's better, reverse osmosis or pour-through filters or distilled water? I won't go into all the details, but because that would be a whole other video. 37 years of doing this business, reverse osmosis, there's no comparative to it. You can't hook a distiller up to your ice maker. Reverse osmosis you can. Distillers you got to clean constantly. And distilled water is not zero water. There is contaminants in distilled water. If the contaminants are in there, like chloramines or chloramines, they're going to be in that water. They carry over with the steam. Reverse osmosis is, in my opinion, it's still what a lot of people call natural living water, filtered down into the Dalton scale, not the micron scale, but that's a whole other universe of filtration that this unit does. This is a secondary unit that comes with the Well Guru platform. Very much like when you compare to, say, your home where they put an air conditioning system in and they call it a split system. You have a unit outside, a unit inside. The best platform, the oxidation platform, is split up. You can have 100 of these Well Guru systems in a row. You cannot install one of these and get a reliable functioning unit that filters down into the Dalton scale as far as it should without having pre-treatment. That's what this does on your main line. This sets up the water, disinfects it, softens it, cleans it, removes the iron, filters hundreds of contaminants out so that your drinking water system can do the job it's engineered for. And I pioneered these back in the 90s, and regardless of what people said 20 years ago, in the last 15 years, this unit is virtually perfected. I got a lot of customers who, there's always people out there who the basic, simple maintenance, they just don't follow. They don't know that there's no filters in this system to replace. There's no filter elements. And the reverse osmosis point of use drinking water system in your sink, there's a couple elements in here that are regular maintenance every 24 months. I have customers that have gone 10 years and they've not changed the filters in this, and it still makes highly purified water. And they use it every day. I don't recommend you do that, of course. Every 24 months, there's 2 elements to change. They're available on our website. It costs you about $50. And they're high quality filtration elements. They're not something you buy at a hardware store. This makes up to 70 gallons of highly purified drinking water a day. You could go to the store and you'd be hard pressed to find water in a bottle that makes the purity this does. It comes with a dedicated faucet. It's completely plumbed with pneumatic fittings where you can, when you get the unit, it's already assembled. It comes with its own storage tank. So you always have about 4 gallons, or between 2 and 4 gallons, depending on different atmospheric pressures and elevations where you live. This system will dispense the highly purified water, and it can be connected also to your ice maker. But if you can't connect it to your ice maker, this system makes water at such a high purity level, your ice cubes come out crystal clear. They're the exception of a few air bubbles in the middle because air squeezes to the middle. But there is virtually no bagged ice company anywhere that makes water even as pure as this system does. When you get bagged ice, it's usually basically city tap water. It's run through a Manitowoc, which is water layering technology. That's how they come up with clear ice cubes. It's not really the purity you're thinking about. The reverse osmosis makes the water for your cooking, your drinking, your ice cubes if you want to connect it to your ice maker. And a lot of people say, well, I got to spend, if it's shipped out to you, I got to either pay my handyman 3 hours labor or I'll install this. So you mean I got to install a second system? Well, this is optional. I can tell you I have it at my house. I've had this for decades. Every drink of water I take, every meal I make is made with reverse osmosis water, high purity water. When I go out to eat, I take it with me in a bottle. I don't trust servers telling me, oh, it's filtered water. Their idea of filtered water, my idea of filtered, treated water is 2 different things. Technology I have in my own residence is what I sell you. It slides underneath your kitchen sink or your laundry pantry or even installed in your basement. It's compact, and this takes the water that has been pre-filtered, pre-treated, and makes it so that it can be used with this technology, and it makes up to 70 gallons of water a day for drinking, cooking, your ice maker. This technology has been out for several decades. In the last 15 years, it's perfected. In fact, I got customers out there. There's always customers that don't follow the instructions, and I go out and do a service call in Florida, and I find out that they have not called for service for the filters. It's been 10 years. My unit in there is still making perfect water. But of course you don't want to go that long with your drinking water, this drinking water unit or any drinking water unit. You got a couple filters here. My filters don't last 6 months, they last 2 years. Most well waters, 99% of the well waters, depending on well water TDS, whatever I test, these 2 filters are about $50. You get them off our website, and they're about as easy to change as, say, your lamp in the front of your yard. If you could take the box off and the metal part and turn the electric on and screw light bulb, you can basically change these filters yourself. You just unscrew the canisters and the filters that come to you off of our website. What does this do? This unit comes with a storage vessel. Now, a lot of dealers they don't bother to market these, and they won't tell you about this. I can tell you every drop of water I drink, every time I go out to eat at a restaurant, I take my water with me from home in a bottle. No meal I cook, no glass of water I drink is not this technology. I do not drink any water but reverse osmosis water. This unit, when you order it with the full package, your drinking water, substances as small, contaminants as small as an atom are rejected from your water. It goes down into the Dalton scale of filtration. That's far past, that's a world, universe difference between micron level and Dalton. This is the water, say if you're going to buy in the store, and a bottled water would be labeled purified, not spring water. Purified water, generally some of the name brands go for $1.36 a half liter. This makes up to 70 gallons of water a day. And it can be connected to your ice maker. Comes with a dedicated faucet. And a lot of my customers, when I communicate with them, they're concerned about installation. Most of my customers install this system themselves. You can use your favorite handyman or your plumber, and it's about 3 hours labor for this system. But decades of shipping this system out to the lower 48 states, I have got this down to a science. This unit, I use pneumatic fittings, that there's no tightening nuts or, using a crescent wrench to tighten brass, and using ferrules and bending copper and using copper cutters. All that is in the past. We now have, everything is color coded, so when you get your unit, black goes to the drain, yellow goes to the storage tank right here, blue is your drinking water. This is an example of one of these fittings, and the whole unit is piped to these fittings. These are not cheap fittings. Most of these dealers are not even going to tell you about this technology, or they offer it in a separate compartment on their internet site. I market my system as a full home treatment system because your expectations are to have the highest purity drinking water that's available, known to science, this science. You want the best quality water and the easiest system to take care of, and you want everything that you can get for your hard-earned dollar. And I can tell you right now, a lot of these dealers are not going to offer this technology, or they're going to try and talk you out of it and say all you need is this. But that may be a matter of opinion. Anybody's in the water business, but when it comes down to contaminants, I want is the highest purity level that science has achieved today. That's affordable, and there is no technology that makes better water than this system. If there is anybody out there who has any ideas, if you want to challenge me, I can show you the data on it. It's all about oxidation and quality components and who makes the components. This fitting right here, these are kind of neat. They've come out about 17 years ago. They're remarkable. That's your plastic line, say in your house, you're going to hook it up. You want to make a connection, there's the fitting. They cost me about $6 to $26 a piece. Most of them are $4 to $6. And they can last 20 years without leaking. This little fitting right here, put it together with the pipe, push it in, you've made your connection. See, that goes to your shut-off under your sink. That's your watertight connection. That doesn't leak. If you go to change your filter, say a couple years from now, and you move the system around and you break a fitting or it starts dripping, the hardware store sells these now. Some hardware stores have these on the wall. And you just go down there and just, if it's dripping, there's no tightening or over-tightening or stripping a nut out. You just depress the ring, pull the pipe out. Same goes to that side. That's your connection. You got them in every style. So anybody can do plumbing these days. You don't have to be a licensed plumber. You don't have to be an experienced handyman. You can be a school teacher, a CPA. If you can change a sprinkler head, or say change a little small pipe in your bathroom under the sink, fix your commode, your flapper in there, you should be able to install this system. And the neat thing about installing this system is, when you install it, It's not like the dealer installing a system, spending a few hours there and then collecting with his bill and leaving, and something goes wrong. You don't know what to do with the system. You don't understand how it works. You don't understand the technology. This system, you spend a few hours on a Saturday afternoon. If we don't install this for you in Florida, which it comes free installed in Florida, shipping is included anywhere in the 48 states. You hook this system up yourself. You're intimately connected with this system. You know how it functions. You know what the shutoffs do. You know by looking at the directions and the diagram I give you. You just cut the pipe right after your bladder tank. You're just interrupting the water going in from one side to the other. All my customers do it, and you got a 24/7 hotline that goes directly to me. So if you have a problem, you can either text me on your smartphone or we can talk, and I can walk you right through whatever problem you got. You can send me a picture. I never hear from anybody. Probably one person every 3 months, 6 months that I am able to offer support to that is installing. Other than that, when they get my CD with the diagram on there, and it just basically it's self-explanatory, plug and play. It's already arrives fully programmed. You cannot, these power heads cannot lose the dealer program. I'm going to go over this technology real quick, and I'm going to show you why my power heads are superior over anything else that you can buy out there for those prices you're looking at. For $950, you're not going to solve any water problems for $950, $1,500, $3,900. I can tell you, any technology that resembles mine, oxidation platform, you could pay $7,000, $8,000 for a system. You're not going to solve your well water problems like you would with this system. That's a fact. These are rain guards. In Florida, we have to install these systems outside. This system is engineered for really humid, really cold, or really hot climates. There's a electronic PC board that's inside this power head. This PC board, we just upgraded the warranty to 10 years. If this board ever fails in 10 years, we'll send you a new one for free with shipping. And it takes you all of 30 seconds to install the board. It's not like putting a modem board in your computer. You don't have to call a service technician out. A 10-year-old kid can fix this power head. This power head's been engineered for well water owners that live in rural areas where you don't have a dealer close by within 20, 30 minutes away usually. Usually they're hours away. You're going to pay a lot of money for service. And your system breaks from those other dealers, you're going to pay several $100s just for a simple service call that I could walk you through for free. I give you free support for life. Any question, any problem you got, you just text me or email me the problem or call. I will talk to you, and I have a protocol for walking you through anything that can go wrong, how slim those chances would be if you do your basic maintenance, which is almost nothing, month to month. I never hear from, most people I never hear from. When I do, it's because they have a question about something, or I'm going to take the cover off of this, and I'm going to show you. That exposes the brains of your system, and most legitimate systems out there have power heads on them. If you don't have a power head, you probably don't even want to be looking at the system. You're being promised the world and you're not getting it. The system is not going to work on well water. If I can make a system work for the way that those little sites on the internet show, the pretty blue filters and all that, and a UV light that only lasts a year, that you cannot rely on for complete water disinfection. A UV light is not going to work for complete disinfection. If you got E. coli or cryptosporidium in your water, think about it in a hospital when you got UV lights. Instruments, they even put instruments in disinfectant and put them under the UV light and flip them 20 minutes aside, and there is disease still transferred to patient in the hospital. In fact, it's one of the most popular diseases you get in the hospital. Why would you buy a UV light? Why would you rely on that for your well water, for your family's well water? We don't. I've never installed a system ever with UV light. Customers ask me, can you add a UV light to it? I'll add it to it if you want, but UV light's only good for 12 months. They don't tell you that. But after you buy their system for $1,600, $3,500, $4,500, $7,500, you'll get a postcard 11 months later and it says replace the UV light. In the unlikely event that you would ever have a problem with one of my power heads, the electronic board with a 10-year warranty, if, say, you come outside and say the time of day is not showing or it says error, and I give you a simple instruction to walk you through to reset it if it needed, and you're unsuccessful in that, you do not have to call for service. You don't got to call a local guy. I can tell you the major franchises, all the major brands, independents, if it has electronic panel, the panel is $375. That's not the average cost. That's the cost when I call around. That was the cost 5 years ago. And those panels, generally, you're not going to install yourself. You probably could, but they're not going to let you. They're going to want to come out and service. You're going to call them. You get what's called the gatekeeper. The secretary answers a phone, and they immediately go to set the service call time. That's what they're in the business for. 33% of, in the water business, the normal regular dealers are 33% of their business comes from service work. 33% comes from salt delivery, and 33% comes from retail sales. I have sales. I'm the one that takes care of your support. For thousands and thousands and thousands of customers, I do your support. And I can sit through dinner, I can sit and watch TV at night, and I don't get any support questions. I mean, I tell my customers, when you get your CD, I'll say it right on the CD. If you have any plumbing problems in your house, I've been a plumber my whole life. I don't get to do much plumbing anymore. I do installs of the systems, the builds of the systems. I'm used to doing plumb work, and I like to help people, walk people through plumbing. If you're doing any plumbing jobs, you can text me or call me and ask my opinion on it. I'll walk you through it. You know, maybe not repiping your whole house, but I'll give you some advice or who to call, or if I know anybody up your way. But I'm about support. I will help you, walk you through for the lifetime you own my system. And there's no monthly charge. There's no $50 a month, no contracts. If you need my help, I give it to you. And my system, the goal of my company is to offer you a system that you can purchase one time and fix your well water problems and give you the quality of the water that you expect, the system that exceeds your expectations for what you get installed or shipped to you. A lot of my customers, when they open up a box, they're like, wow, this system, as you can see, this is not like anything else you can buy on the internet, or your guy comes out there. Anybody who used to sell systems that look like this, I can tell you, when the economy started going bad about 5 years ago, they started pulling back. You don't get this, you don't get that. They take one of these out. They do it to raise their bottom line. This PC panel, I'm going to show you how easy it is to change. You lift up on the tab, pull the wires. You can either send it back to me or whatever the case is. I send you a new one. Pop it back in there, put your wires back in there. The electronics. How can I give you a 10-year warranty of these electronics? Simple. This is the most up-to-date, modern electronics available. These are made in America. This panel is made in the United States. It's not made in Korea. It's not made in China. And I can tell you, those systems you're looking at out there, when you get the system, look what it says on the panel. You're going to see the word Korea. Even the companies out there say they build their system in America, it says Korea on the panel. That panel right there has an electric laser eye that watches a hologram wheel through this little window. This technology removes the problems that have plagued well owners, well filtration system owners, with filters for decades. This has been a problem for people with their service calls. This is how the dealers make their money. If the power head gets clogged up from hard water, I've never taken a power head of mine apart. I have a one tool that fits every facet of this power head. It's available in my parts set if you need it. I've never taken a power head apart for anything except for this one part here, where about 5% of my customers have a lot of sharp silica sand in their raw well water. There's a part behind this panel right here. Takes you 30 seconds to get it out. Looks like this. It's one piece. It's not 40 pieces. It's not 15 gears. You take it out, it looks like a pine cone. Stick it in, put this panel back on there. It's done. You've rebuilt the valve. You've rebuilt the valve in under 5 to 10 minutes. A 10-year-old kid can do that. You don't need to call for service. That saves you thousands of... Some customers, their well water is so much iron and so much smell, sulfur smell, so much bacteria. They spend $1,500 to $2,500 a year or more on maintenance for their systems. My system, you don't. It's an average of $50 a year. That's the average cost. And what's the maintenance on my system? I'm going to show you. There's nothing easier to maintain, even on this full platform system. The Well Guru Super, here's your chlorinator. I'm going to go over the maintenance real quick. If you're not doing salt or chlorine once a month or every 3 months, you got this. Twice a year, you change this O-ring. And that O-ring pops right out. It's $12 on my website. Free shipping, easy to purchase. You get an extra one with the system. Lasts 6 months. Some waters, it can last 5 years, but I recommend you change every 6 months. It's $24 a year. If you do that, see this cap right here? It's about a 1/4 inch thick. Cap can last 5, 7 years. If you change the O-ring and you do it on maintenance every 6 months, it'll last you. That's it. This valve right here, every 3 years, you unscrew it and put a new one on. We sell it on our, it's like 40 bucks. This part right here, this is our engineered chlorinator. This isn't something you can buy off the internet. This isn't something other dealers will offer you in the filtration business. This is an inline, non-electric, dry chlorine tablet injector. It's not an electric injector. Those are trouble-free. That's why many decades ago I set off on engineering a chlorine injector that is reliable. And electric injectors, I sold those for many years. They're not reliable. A few months after the warranty's up, half of them, 50% of them break out of warranty. That makes people mad. Electric chlorinators, a lot of them, depending on your water, if you got water problems, every 30 days, it's a service call. And that can be a few $100s depending on where you live. This chlorinator, even if you backed up over it with the riding lawnmower and broke it in the garage or out back, that chlorinator is a fraction of the price of an electric chlorinator. Electric chlorinators are about $900 to get one that's got the proper supportive equipment so that it will work. There is no better way to inject chlorine into your system for your well water, and there's no system that removes the chlorine more effectively. It doesn't work. It's not out there. This system will do all that for you. This injector is easy to work. It's once or twice a month, you'll put your chlorine pucks in there. You'll turn off valve 1, turn off valve 2, open valve 3. Take the cap off. You'll drop your 1 or 2 pucks in there depending on what I give you for your maintenance. I send you a couple of free samples. You can buy it off the internet or locally. I tell you some place to get it. It's not something you have to buy from me. And this is 100% pure chlorine. After you've installed your pucks, you close valve 3, open 2, open 1. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And you're back in operation. This apparatus here, that's an engineered valve. That is for you. That is for your wellhead. A lot of people don't maintain their wellheads. They don't maintain their bladder tank, their pump, their points. At the bottom of your well, whether it's 150, 500 feet deep, you got a bronze foot valve down there. That foot valve, if it's defective or hangs up, gets a branch in it or get corroded, and your power fails, that can cost some serious money to fix. In well water, that's about $3,500. That's not something we do. That's what dealers will do. Usually they're well drillers. They're the ones that set up your well and your bladder tank. That valve That will hold a 500-foot column of water, 4 inches wide. That will keep your water from backsliding. That valve may never come into use until it's needed. So I've gone through this system and I've engineered this system to work for you, to do the things that you need it to do, to be reliable for you, to be easy to maintain. So you got chlorine, salt, and this vessel. So you got 30-day maintenance, takes you all of 10 minutes once a month total. And you have a system that's going to give you, it'll give you a lifetime of reliability. Your scheduled maintenance. A lot of dealers out there say, well, where you go 6, 7, 8 years, 1,000,000 gallons, or well, whatever. That's for well water. It doesn't have a problem. You got iron, sulfur, you got high TDS, high turbidity, pH issues. You are not going to get that number off that website that they're talking about. I can tell you right now, when they got to replace that filter, they're going to send it to you. It's going to be easily $900,000, $900 or $1,000. That's the maintenance. That's how they make their money. No inline filter. Now we're not talking about your drinking water unit. We're talking about your main water platform. There's a lot of companies out there. I'd say probably 8 out of 10 of them advertise the internet. They're selling you inline filters. Inline filter elements. The little blue filter, it change, and it's part of the system. Those flea market systems, they're engineered by people who either do not understand complex water problems, raw water problems that wells have, or they've been in the business so long that they're looking for guaranteed annuities for selling parts. You look at the parts on my parts store page. Those are at shop cost. I'm not in a business to make money after the sale. I want to supply my customers with a system that does what they want it to do. Those inline filters that are lined up as part of their system that you have to replace, a lot of times you replace those every 2 weeks. Now, if you don't buy from me and you buy from them, keep my phone number. Remember I told you that. Those filters are $40, $80, $150, whatever they want. They're going to say, oh, you got to buy that filter from us. And they're going to say, well, you just got bad water. So that's going to be just a monthly bill. That's going to be something you have to buy every couple of weeks. That's just going to be part of living on well water. That makes living on well water a liability. Living on well water should not be a liability. It should be an asset. You don't have to pay a water bill. You don't got a $150 water bill every month, or a $50, $200, $300 water bill. You got free water, all you can use. You just need to get that water handled so you got safe, clean, no odors. You got water that is pure, and you want a system that's reliable. You can do that. I can do that. I can build a system for you that does that. That's what I would want. If I spent for this whole package $44.88, installed free or shipped out at that price, which is what it is, I would expect that. I would not expect to be shelling out, buying a couple inline filters every couple weeks for $80 or $200 and having to change those. Changing inline filters is not fun. Whatever you're wearing, if you got iron in the water, whatever you're wearing, your shoes, your pants, your shirt, it's ruined. You're going to be wearing a plastic poncho replacing that. I can tell you. It's just, I've changed out inline filters and for concession trailers and restaurants, and it's not fun. They don't belong on well water. Well water is raw water. A certain technology has to be engineered for well water. But you know what? I'm going to share something with you. I'm a licensed plumber. Those people you're dealing with out there on the internet sites, or the local guys, the franchises, I don't care if they've been in business for 45, 50 years, you're not dealing with a licensed plumber. Most licensed plumbers, this is a separate business. This is not, I got into this because at a younger age, I was, as a younger person going around and do service calls, the plumber I was for 48 years specialized in well water. So that's how I learned the trade. But I can tell you this, most plumbers, I'm not going to say all plumbers, but most plumbers do not know this business backwards and forwards. So when you buy those systems, you go to the flea market, you see those people selling filters, and they look like the ones on the internet. And, it's not going to solve your well water problems. You're going to spend $3,500 you're going to spend about, whatever, $300 to $2,000 your first year, and then by then you're going to be pretty angry. You're going to be ready to remove it. But then now you've got $4,000 or $5,000 in it. Then that's when probably half the customers purchase from me. Not everybody buys from me right off the bat because they say, "Oh, it's too much trouble. 4 boxes being shipped up to me," or "I don't think I need anything this big." You do need something this big. Let me tell you, if I could sell something smaller than this, I would. This takes us 12 hours to build. Each clone system that we build for our customers, engineering, boxing, building, is about 12 hours. And I pay for the shipping, the free shipping on this, to the 48 states up north. I pay for the shipping. It comes to your driveway for that 48 for all this. So if I could build something with my 38 years now of experience and do it for less and still give you the same water, then I would advertise it. And I would also set the price accordingly. You can't solve well water problems with these packages that they're offering, or these filters they're offering. And you're not going to do it with one tank, one filter. You're not going to do it with 8 of their. There's a company out there that's selling 7 inline filters. You'll see the guy standing out, in nature with the trees and the water, and he's like, you don't want a system with chlorine and salt. Of course, you want to be green. You don't want your body to be green or whatever nonsense that is. And he's got 7 filters, and he's going to sell you 7 filters a few times a year or every couple of weeks if your water's bad enough. He knows you're not going to pay $1,500 for that battery of filters and keep buying that year after year. But I'll tell you what, he'll get you for about a year. And you'll open up your checkbook several times during that year, and you're going to be pretty upset by it. And at the end of that year, that's when half of those customers, I get my emails say, "Eric, we talked back and forth on email, or we talked on the phone. I don't know if you remember me or not, but we bought a system from a local guy, and we want to go ahead and order from you." Or sometimes I can tell you, I've got a lot of customers. They bought 3 systems in 10 years, $5,000 a pop, and $5,000. They got $25,000, $30,000 invested in trying to keep their water good. They got a beautiful house. Some are out in the country, and their water is bad. You got bad water. You don't have it's not all that living on well water. You can have perfect water. And those are customers that bought. That's when they decide to buy from me, and they finally get their water problems fixed once and for all. So if you want to order from me, if you have any questions, go ahead and contact me. My internet email address is on the website. My phone number's on there. We're open from, I take start answering emails or phone calls from 10 a.m. to about 6 p.m. For service and support, I'm 24/7. If I'm not available, my sons are in the business, and they both have over a decade of experience in their mid-20s. This is a family business. They'll handle you, and taught them everything I know. Looking forward to doing business with you.